Do you ever feel like your boss is trying to push you out? It's a thought that creeps up on many of us, a gnawing suspicion that's hard to shake off. In an ever-changing workplace, it's crucial to recognize the signs. Understanding these signs can help you navigate through the complexities of office dynamics and ensure you're not caught off guard. Start asking the right questions, be vigilant, and prepare yourself for any situation. If you ever felt this way, stay tuned. You might find what comes next quite enlightening. Don't forget to subscribe for more tips and insights on navigating the workplace. Sign number 1. Your boss has stopped communicating with you as frequently. This could manifest in a number of ways. Perhaps you've noticed that your inbox is a little quieter these days, or that you're often the last to know about significant decisions. You might also find yourself consistently left out of crucial meetings that you used to attend. This isn't just about feeling included. It's about your ability to do your job effectively. If you're not given the information you need, or if you're left out of discussions that impact your work, it can be a major hindrance. It's also a sign that your boss may not value your input as much as they once did. But remember, communication ebbs and flows in any relationship, including the one with your boss. However, if this decrease in communication becomes a pattern, and you're consistently left out of the loop, it might be time to ask some questions. Sign number 2. Your work is suddenly under a microscope. Imagine this. You've been performing your duties diligently, then out of the blue, every little task you do is heavily scrutinized. Even minor mistakes that wouldn't have raised an eyebrow before are now magnified and criticized. This increased scrutiny could be an indication of trouble brewing. It's as though your employer is searching for a reason, any reason, to justify a decision they've already made. This constant criticism can chip away at your confidence, making you second-guess your decisions and doubt your abilities. Your job performance could suffer as a result, creating a cycle of negative feedback. It's important to remember that everyone makes mistakes, and constructive criticism is part of professional growth. But when the criticism becomes incessant and focuses on the trivial rather than the substantive, it's a different ballgame. When every little thing you do becomes a big issue, it's a sign you shouldn't ignore. Sign number 3. There's a significant shift in your responsibilities. Have you noticed an abrupt change in your duties at work? Maybe tasks that once fell under your purview are now being handed to others. Or perhaps you're being assigned duties that don't align with your skill set, or worse, are a clear downgrade from what you were doing. This can be a telltale sign that your employer is trying to push you out. It's not just about the shift itself, but the impact it can have on your morale and job satisfaction. We all strive for progress in our careers, not regression. Being stripped of responsibilities you once handled can be disheartening. It can make you feel undervalued and question your worth within the organization. It's important to remember that your job title and responsibilities should reflect your skills and experience. A sudden shift in your role without your consent is definitely a red flag. Sign number 4. You're stuck in a negative feedback loop. This can be an unsettling experience. Imagine constantly receiving critique, yet not a single word of praise or encouragement. This imbalance of feedback could be a sign that your employer is trying to undermine your confidence and performance. Let's delve into the psychological impact of such a scenario. When you're constantly bombarded with criticism and no positive reinforcement, your self-esteem could take a serious hit. Over time, this may lead to decreased productivity, increased stress, and even burnout. A healthy work environment thrives on balanced feedback, a mix of constructive criticism and positive reinforcement. This balance fosters growth, boosts morale, and promotes a positive work culture. So if your days are filled with constant nitpicking and no words of appreciation, it's a red flag. If you're only hearing about what you're doing wrong, it's time to reassess your situation. Sign number 5, you're excluded from discussions about the company's future. Now let's unpack this. When you're left out of strategic conversations or planning sessions, it's not just about missing a meeting, it's a signal, intentional or not, that your input isn't valued in shaping the road ahead. Think about it. If you're a key player in your organization, your insights and ideas would naturally be sought after. So if you find yourself out of the loop, it could be a sign that your employer doesn't see you as part of the big picture anymore. This exclusion can be a symptom of a deeper issue. It might indicate a lack of trust in your abilities or a dwindling confidence in your contributions. And remember, every employee is an investment. If you're not included in future plans, It suggests that the return on investment might not be there anymore. If you're not part of your company's future, where does that leave you? Now that we've identified the signs, what can you do about it? Well, one of the best strategies is open communication. If you feel your employer is giving you the cold shoulder, initiate a conversation. Ask direct questions about your role, your performance, and any concerns they might have. Remember, clear and open dialogue can often clear up misunderstandings and set the record straight. Another strategy is to actively seek feedback. Don't wait for your annual review to find out how you're doing. Regularly ask for constructive criticism and take it on board. It shows you're eager to learn, improve, and contribute to the company's success. But what if the signs persist? It's time to set some boundaries. If you're constantly being overloaded with work or treated unfairly, it's important to stand your ground. Politely but firmly express your concerns about the workload or the unfair treatment. Explain your limitations and discuss possible solutions. This shows that you value your own well-being and that you are not afraid to protect your interests. Now, let's consider a less palatable but sometimes necessary strategy: seeking other job opportunities. If the signs continue and your work environment becomes toxic, it might be time to consider this option. Remember, your mental and physical health are paramount, and no job is worth sacrificing them. But above all, remember the importance of self-advocacy in the workplace. You are your own best representative. It's crucial to speak up for yourself, to voice your concerns, and to assert your rights. If you're feeling marginalized or undervalued, it's up to you to bring these issues to light. In conclusion, dealing with signs that your employer wants you out can be challenging. But with open communication, proactive feedback seeking, setting boundaries, and considering other job opportunities, you can navigate this tough situation. Remember, you are your biggest advocate. Don't let these signs go unaddressed. Let's quickly revisit what we've discussed today. We've tackled some important ground, identifying the key indicators that your employer might want you to move on. We started with decreased communication. When your usual interactions become less frequent or less substantive, it might be a sign that something's amiss. Next, we talked about increased scrutiny. If you're suddenly under the microscope for tasks you've comfortably handled in the past, it might be a sign that your employer is building a case against you. The third sign we discussed was a shift in responsibilities. If you find your duties being reallocated, especially without clear explanation, it's time to pay attention. We then talked about the negative feedback loop. If you're constantly receiving criticism without any positive reinforcement, it could be a sign that your employer is trying to push you out. And lastly, we discussed exclusion from future plans. If you're consistently left out of meetings, projects, or plans for the future, it's a strong indicator that your employer might be planning a future without you. But remember, recognizing these signs isn't cause for panic. It's a call to action. We've discussed some strategies to address these situations, including open communication, seeking feedback, and exploring other opportunities. Knowing the signs is the first step. Taking action is the next. Good luck, and remember, you deserve a workplace where you feel valued and respected.